What if we aren't the first? Not the first to build cities. Not the first to send signals into the sky. Not the first to wonder, where did we come from? What if millions of years before the first human ever walked the earth, another intelligent civilization rose, thrived, and vanished so completely that we can barely imagine it was ever here? This is the question behind one of the most mind-bending scientific ideas ever proposed, the Silurian Hypothesis. It's not science fiction. It's not wild conspiracy. It's a serious, peer-reviewed scientific discussion led by an astrophysicist and a NASA climate scientist about whether the geological record could hide an entire chapter of our planet's history. And the answer they found is unsettling. The hypothesis explained. In 2018, Adam Frank, an astrophysicist at the University of Rochester, and Gavin Schmidt, the director of NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies, published a paper asking a simple question. If an industrial civilization existed on Earth millions of years before humans, would we be able to detect it today? Their answer was essentially, maybe not. Because Earth is very good at erasing things. Continents shift. Oceans swallow coastlines. Volcanoes blanket landscapes in new rock. Glaciers grind mountains down to dust. And perhaps most importantly, the Earth's crust recycles itself, burying the surface deep below and melting it into magma. Over millions of years, the entire surface of the planet is rewritten. So even if skyscrapers once dotted the horizon, or satellites orbited above, their physical remains would almost certainly be gone by now. Why the name Silurian? The term comes from the Silurian period, a slice of Earth's history about 443 to 419 million years ago, long before the dinosaurs. It's also a cheeky nod to the 1970s Doctor Who TV series, where an intelligent reptilian species called the Silurians were said to have ruled Earth long before humans. But the name is just a hook. The real question spans any era. Could an advanced civilization have existed at any point in Earth's deep past? What would be left behind? If the buildings, roads, and artifacts are gone, what could possibly remain? Frank and Schmidt argue that the clues would be chemical, not physical. Think of what our civilization is leaving behind today. Fossil fuel signatures, burning coal, oil, and gas leaves distinct carbon isotope ratios in the atmosphere and soil. Synthetic chemicals, plastics, pesticides, PCBs, compounds that do not occur naturally, can persist for hundreds of thousands of years under the right conditions. Radioactive isotopes. Nuclear activity creates isotopes with half-lives that could still be measurable millions of years later. If another civilization had industry, it might have left behind similar signals, buried deep in the geological layers we rarely study closely. The harsh reality of deep time. Here's the part that blows most people's minds. Our entire industrial civilization is only about 300 years old. Our species, Homo sapiens, has been around for maybe 300,000 years. But Earth is 4.5 billion years old. That means if another intelligent species had arisen even 10 million years ago, which is a blink in geological time, almost nothing physical would be left. Even the fossil record is shockingly incomplete. The vast majority of all species that ever lived left no fossil trace at all. And if our cities were gone, our satellites burned up, and our books turned to dust, what would a civilization 10 million years in the future know about us? Maybe only that there was a sudden spike in certain chemicals, a technosignature layer in the rock. Parallels with the Great Filter. This is where the Silurian Hypothesis connects to something even bigger, the Fermi Paradox, the question of why, in a vast and ancient universe, we don't see signs of other civilizations. One possible answer is the Great Filter, some deadly bottleneck that prevents civilizations from surviving long enough to colonize the galaxy. If Earth has already had one or more advanced civilizations in the past, and they vanished, that could be evidence that the filter is real. And if they were wiped out by environmental collapse, resource depletion, or war, Well, it's a warning we might want to take seriously. What could have happened to them? If an ancient civilization existed, how did it end? Possibilities include natural disasters, asteroid impacts, supervolcanoes, global ice ages, self-inflicted collapse, climate change, ecosystem destruction, nuclear war. Gradual decline, a slow fall into unsustainable living, where population and technology shrink until all trace disappears. And remember, they might not have looked like us. They could have been reptilian, avian, or something entirely different. The point isn't who they were, it's that it could happen at all. Searching for ghost civilizations, scientists have proposed some ways to look for signs of ancient industry. Deep core drilling, examining ancient sediment layers for unnatural chemical signatures. Metal isotope analysis, looking for rare metals in unusual concentrations. Fossilized technology, incredibly unlikely, but possible in exceptional preservation environments. Geological anomalies, unexplained patterns in rock that don't match natural processes. It's slow, expensive work, and since no one's funding search for ancient aliens on Earth projects, progress is limited. Why this matters to us now? Even if we never find evidence of a past civilization, the Silurian hypothesis still matters, because it forces us to think about our own legacy. If we vanish, what will remain? Will future beings, human or otherwise, see our brief flare of technology as just another thin layer in the rocks? Or will we figure out how to survive long-term without leaving our planet uninhabitable? The haunting truth is this: if another civilization once thrived here, they are gone. And unless we learn from that possibility, we could join them. Final thought: we like to think we are unique, that human history is the only story Earth has ever told. But maybe we are just the latest chapter. One day our chapter will close. The only question is whether someone else, millions of years from now, will ever read it. And if they do, will they wonder the same thing we're asking now? Were we truly the first? Or just the latest to rise and fall on this ancient, restless planet?